Good morning, family, friends, and total strangers. Kondo here. I have a big announcement. Kondo is back at his condo in Florida. I made the decision to transfer from the 30% club, or those that are going to finish or have finished the Pacific Crest Trail, to the 70% club, those that never finished it. And I made the decision to cease my hike for a variety of reasons. All the way up until the day I quit, I was having a great time. The thought never crept into my mind at all about stopping my goal of finishing the Pacific Crest Trail until the very last day. I'd made it around the rock fall. I had survived the windstorm, and after I tinted, after crossing the rock slide, I had a very difficult hike from there to the saddle above Idlewild. Now I noticed a lot of the hikers that had stayed at Idlewild at at Paradise Cafe had traveled to the saddle and had gone back down again for another stay at Idlewild. I had decided just to walk right on through. My strategy is to go over the mountain early in the morning when the snow was hard. I wouldn't have to worry about post holing. So on that final drive to the saddle and up to the top of the mountain, it was a very, very difficult hike. Crossing a pretty long snowfield and then going over and under those 60 fallen trees was very, very difficult. But I pushed on. I got to the saddle. I noticing during that time, I started thinking about going home. And it's the first time it had happened. I'm not sure what clicked in my mind. Maybe the fact that I had survived going around that rock slide and I had survived that windstorm. But for whatever reason, I started thinking about it. And when I got to the saddle, I noticed the tent site at about 180 was almost at the top. It would be a good place to start in the morning where it would be very cold and the snow would be frozen. So I went ahead after a long hike. I hiked another almost 2 miles up to the top of that, towards the top of the mountain. I was pretty close to the trail that goes to the peak. I was at a tent site up there and I noticed I had a cell signal. So thinking about it, I says, I better go back down to Idlewild or go back down and spend a couple days rest, because I had these thoughts in my head. I better think it over, and I was exhausted. So I went ahead and called Grumpy. He's the trail angel who had given me a ride to Idlewild out back to Paradise Cafe trailhead 3 days earlier. So I went ahead and called him. I said, hey Grumpy, can you give me a ride to the Interstate 10. I knew there wasn't any hotels open in Idlewild. It was a Saturday, and I was pretty sure I could find something open over at the Interstate 10 area in Banning. So he said, yeah. He said, go ahead and text me at the top of the saddle, because when you start walking down, you lose cell coverage. So I said, okay, I'll meet you there at the parking lot at 7. So I started down. I got up at 3 a.m., started down with my light. I was amazed when I was walking down that almost 2 miles back to the saddle. I was amazed. I just hours earlier had hiked up. It was pretty steep, and after walking all day to walk up that steep embankment, that steep Travis switchbacks was amazing to me. Anyway, I hustled back down. I could never get a cell coverage, so I was really worried that he was not going to be there. So when I got down to the parking lot, I was almost down. I had my spikes on the whole way because there was snow patches and ice patches. But about almost all the way down, I didn't see any snow. So my puffy was causing me to sweat. So I decided to take my puffy off. So I took my backpack off. I took my puffy off. I went ahead and removed my spikes. There was no snow. So I was about 10 minutes away from the parking lot. I'm hustling down the trail. Boom, I hit a small patch of ice. It was the last, I swear it was the last piece of ice on that trail. It was about 10 inches long and maybe 4 or 5 inches wide. I slipped and fell. 180 miles is the first time I fell, was on that ice, and I'd just taken my ice spikes off probably 10 minutes prior. So I fell down, jumped back up. I had some scrapes in my leg, nothing serious. Ankle felt fine. I got down to the bottom. Grumpy wasn't there, so I kept trying to text him, but I couldn't get a cell coverage. So someone said, you can get cell coverage, just walk down the road. So I started walking down the road towards Idlewild, and I'd probably gotten 2 miles. I kept trying to get a signal, couldn't get a signal. I was really worried he wasn't going to be able to show. He wouldn't show because I never texted him. But here he comes, about 7 o'clock, up the road. He stopped, gave me a ride. I gave me a ride into Banning. I got a hotel, and I know you never quit on a bad day, so I decided I'd give it a couple days. Well, that day and later, oh look, there's a dolphin swimming by. If you can see it right down there. Look, he just got up, just broke the water, a dolphin. Anyway, later that day, my ankle started hurt. I've never had an ankle problem in my life. I've never sprained my ankle, never hurt my ankle. But I started getting very painful foot at the arch above my toes. It was very painful, and it's still very painful. So that, and the fact that I'm not a fool, I'm a realist, and my trail legs never kicked in. You know, taking 68 steps and then waiting 68 seconds to go up these steep switchbacks is not going to hack it. And I just was disappointed that I guess my 68-year-old body and was just not going to be able to get me to Florida. But I had a great time. I know a lot of my subscribers are going to be disappointed. I'm disappointed, but I'm not a fool. I'm a realist, and I just wasn't. My body was not able to walk the sufficient miles to really make progress. So I made the decision. I have no regrets. I'm proud of the fact I walked 180 miles. I overcome a couple situations that were, my life was in my hands, and that really affected me. After I did that slide, I felt such a great sense of accomplishment. I'm thinking maybe I felt at that time that that's all I needed to do. That was a trip for me. I don't know, but I'd never had that idea of stopping in my mind until after that moment, and I started thinking about it. It kind of crept in like a mist, and I didn't make any decisions right then. I decided I would wait for a couple days, and that's what I did. And the more I thought about it, the more I knew that it was the right decision for me. I hope I brought joy to those people I interviewed. Think about it, I never had a bad interaction with any of the people that I interviewed. Never had a bad interaction with any of the town people when I went into town. It was a great experience. It was a wonderful experience. The young people were so impressive. Everybody I've met some people I'll probably be lifelong friends with. The subscribers, I never had a negative comment on my blog, which was really nice. People were so encouraging. I know I'm going to disappoint a lot of people, but trust me, it was the right decision for me. I had a great time. I had a blast. Unfortunately, my body was just not able to do it, and I made the decision to stop. So that's it. This will be my last video. Once again, I hope you enjoyed the interviews. I hope other bloggers will start interviewing more people along the trail. I think people really like that, and for you people out there that are going to start the trail and video blogging, stop and talk to the hikers. Their stories are interesting, and the people watching really liked the interviews. So I think it's something that more of the bloggers should do. So anyway, take care. Condo out. And this is Condo, back as Condo. Oh, another thing I think I probably made a mistake in is naming myself Condo. That might have been a mistake because someone said condo, I was thinking about the condo back home. And this is what I get to look at. And I'm sitting back in Florida, As we were talking, I watched a dolphin swim by, and I guess it was just too enticing. It was pulling me back, pulling me back. And I miss my wife a lot also, so that contributed to it. But I had a great time. It was a blast. I would not discourage anybody from hiking Pacific Crest Trail. It's something I've been wanting to do for the last at least 15 years, and I did it. I'm glad I did it. It was a fantastic experience. I encourage all of you to pursue your dreams. I pursued mine. I have no regrets. I'm proud of what I achieved. And y'all take care. Okay, bye.